The supervolcano that caused all this is ancient history. But could it happen again?
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at scientific discoveries, experiments, and historical events that could have destroyed humanity.
In the month of September, some 12,000 people died of influenza in America. But those numbers would be dwarfed, for the full horror now began.
Kola superdeep borehole.
With their equipment failing rapidly as they encountered staggeringly high temperatures at these depths, the engineers at Kola have no option but to stop further drilling.
In the 1970s, Soviet scientists embarked on a straightforward mission to drill as deep into the Earth as possible. The Kola superdeep borehole, a 7.6-mile deep chasm, remains the deepest artificial point on Earth. The experiments conducted there told us a great deal about both life on Earth and the planet's makeup. But what if they'd gone deeper? Experts of the time worried about drilling into the Earth's mantle.
They drill into the crust using a 200-ton, 200-foot-high drilling machine, housed in a huge yellow tower in the center of the borehole site.
Could such an experiment have triggered volcanic activity or seismic shifts? Luckily, the mantle remains unbreached. The project stalled in 1995 due to both skyrocketing temperatures and costs. Let's just hope it wasn't also a case of humanity dodging a geological bullet.
Is it normal?
Yeah. That's why we drilled here. Abnormally wide layer of permafrost. It reduced work by almost a year.
Nuclear war games.
Sir, this is the current world intelligence situation, and you might pay particular note to the nuclear submarines off the east and west coast. Okay.
In 1979, a training tape meant to simulate a Soviet nuclear attack was accidentally fed into NORAD's live warning system. The resultant scare nearly led to a nuclear Armageddon. Alarms blared as screens lit up with what appeared to be an incoming missile barrage. Military commanders scrambled to respond, alerting nuclear forces and bringing the world to the brink of catastrophe.
You taking everything you got?
Damn it, Maureen, it's an alert!
Thankfully, cool heads noted that nothing was coming up on radar or seismic sensors. Fortunately, the error was caught before any retaliation orders were issued. Still, the incident exposed just how close humanity could come to accidental annihilation thanks to human error. It was a stark reminder that in the nuclear age, even a single man's accident could have deadly consequences.
All stations, this is Crystal Palace. Initiating emergency conference. Stand by.
The eruption of Mount Thera.
Exploding pumice is piling up piece by piece. This accumulates at a tremendous rate, probably about this much an hour. Piles up, but then suddenly it changes.
Volcanoes have shaped civilizations thanks to the fertile soils left in their fiery wake. But their destructive power also holds civilization-ending potential. Krakatoa's 1883 eruption unleashed energy equivalent to 200 megatons of TNT, devastating Java and Sumatra. In 1815, Tambora's eruption brought the year without a summer. Ash in the atmosphere sent global temperatures plunging, sparking worldwide famines. But Mount Thera, which erupted around 1600 BCE, takes center stage in volcanic history.
A superheated column of gas, ash, and rock blasted 6 miles into the stratosphere.
Its eruption obliterated much of the Minoan civilization, the real-life inspiration for Atlantis. The shock of the explosion sent tsunamis cascading through the Mediterranean Sea, devastating many early human settlements. Had the after effects been more widespread, humanity might have been set back centuries or worse.
The annihilation of the Minoan culture was so fantastically catastrophic that the event may have planted the seed for one of history's most enduring myths.
The Carrington event.
The superflare. In our own solar system.
In 1859, the sun unleashed a geomagnetic storm so powerful it electrified telegraph lines, sparked fires, and created auroras visible near the equator. Known as the Carrington event, it was a cosmic warning shot to the future of electronic age humanity. At the time, the world ran on steam, coal, and oil. Electricity was both rare and simple, with the effects of the solar storm localized and minimal. Today, our interconnected digital infrastructure is far more vulnerable. A modern equivalent could fry satellites, disable power grids, and plunge modern society into utter chaos. Estimates suggest such an event would cost trillions in damage. It would take modern society years to recover from a repeat of the Carrington event. Cuban Missile Crisis.
This government, as promised, has maintained the closest surveillance of the Soviet military buildup on the island of Cuba.
The Cuban Missile Crisis brought humanity to the very brink of nuclear annihilation. As the United States discovered Soviet missile installations in Cuba, tensions escalated into a 13-day standoff. Behind the scenes, military leaders on both sides advocated for war. U.S. generals proposed an invasion of Cuba. Soviet commanders in Cuba were authorized to launch tactical nuclear strikes if attacked.
In a field near the village of San Cristobal, the photographs clearly showed 30-foot-long, medium-range Soviet nuclear missiles.
President John F. Kennedy and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev ultimately chose diplomacy over devastation. They negotiated a secret deal that removed missiles from both Cuba and eventually Turkey. The crisis was a stark reminder of how human decision-making narrowly averted catastrophe. Had cooler heads not prevailed, civilization as we know it could have ended in nuclear fire.
You see, we and the Russians should not play games of chicken with each other to see how far one might go in a particular adventure without crossing that lethal line into nuclear war.
The Chicxulub impact.
The KT impact wiped out 70% of all species on Earth. But despite the death and destruction, life persisted.
Near misses with asteroids remind us how precarious life on Earth can be. In 1989, the asteroid 4581 Asclepius skimmed past our planet at a cosmic hair's breadth. Now imagine an asteroid not missing, like the Chicxulub impact. A space rock the size of Mount Everest slammed into what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula more than 66 million years ago.
Scientific instruments show the structure of the underlying rock has been deformed, revealing the boundaries of a colossal meteorite impact crater.
The collision released a level of energy that is difficult to comprehend. Firestorms and acid rain ensued. The impact also triggered a nuclear winter that blocked sunlight. This instant ice age collapsed most ecosystems, wiping out 75% of life on Earth, including most dinosaurs. A similar impact in the future would almost certainly deliver equally deadly results. Spanish flu.
No one has any idea that the disease will soon steal across the United States, and that what is happening on an army base in Kansas is about to bring the nation and the rest of the globe to its knees.
In an increasingly globalized world, pandemics reveal the vulnerable underbelly of human civilization. COVID-19 paralyzed the planet, killing millions and exposing the fragility of our interconnected systems. But even this pales in comparison to the Spanish flu of 1918. Emerging in the shadow of World War I, the influenza virus infected 1/3 of the global population. The death toll of the Spanish flu was estimated by many as 50 million people.
You can't barrier yourself from being exposed because the person who looks healthy may be spreading the disease.
This far eclipsed the death toll of the war itself. With no antibiotics to treat secondary infections and limited medical knowledge, it spread with terrifying speed. It devastated urban centers and remote villages alike. Infrastructure crumbled, economies stalled, and communities were pushed to the brink. A deadlier communicable virus could ostensibly destroy humanity outright.
Everybody was living in deadly fear because it was so quick, so sudden, and so terrifying. It destroyed the intimacy that existed amongst people.
Ice Age and the Toba supervolcano.
As we dug and as we started to realize that the bones were very concentrated in these layers that looked like they were debris flows, slumps coming off the side of the lake, we said, like, wait, maybe there is something here. Maybe there is something that's actually killing these animals and then burying them.
During the devastating glacial periods, humanity teetered on the brink of extinction. As ice sheets expanded across vast swaths of the planet, the climate grew colder and drier. In this era before agriculture, food sources were decimated. Early humans were left with a choice: migrate or perish.
They knew that soon the wind spirits would bring snow, and snow would bring death.
Many did both. Through the millennia and centuries, Homo sapiens struggled to survive. The eruption of Toba, the supervolcano, further affected global temperatures around 70,000 years ago. Genetic evidence suggests that Homo sapiens dwindled to as few as 1,000 individuals. The population bottleneck was so severe, it could have ended our species entirely. Survival demanded ingenuity, as small bands clung to life near Africa's coasts, relying on marine resources for sustenance.
Particles in the clouds scattered sunlight, causing the sky to appear blindingly bright, but blocking the warming rays of the sun.
The Black Plague. The Black Plague was one of the deadliest diseases in human history, killing an estimated 50 million people worldwide. It destroyed nearly half of Europe's population alone. The disease tore through towns and cities with terrifying speed. It spread along trade routes, leaving devastation in its wake. Societies crumbled as fear and superstition gripped survivors. Labor shortages reshaped both the economy and social hierarchies. But the plague wasn't just a natural disaster, it was also an early example of biological warfare. In 1347, Mongols besieging the city of Kaffa allegedly launched plague-ridden corpses over the walls, likely accelerating its spread into Europe. This dark precedent highlights the risk of weaponized diseases today, as advancements in biotechnology make pathogens like plague or smallpox potential weapons.
They suffered agonizing lumps in their necks. Just days later, 60% of them were dead.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Trinity Test.
The test was set at midnight. The prediction was there'd be 60-mile visibility and a certain wind pattern. Well, at midnight, it was raining cats and dogs.
The Trinity Test marked the birth of the nuclear age. It was an age born in fire with the potential to end just as quickly. As the first ever detonation of a nuclear device, it was an experiment shrouded in uncertainty. Some Trinity scientists even feared that the explosion would ignite the Earth's atmosphere. Such a chain reaction could consume the planet in fire. While those fears proved unfounded, the test confirmed humanity's ability to unleash catastrophic destruction.
I have to admit I didn't feel much of anything except great joy that it was a success. It was really later that we all began to think more about it.
Since then, nuclear weapons have brought us perilously close to annihilation. Near misses from misinterpreted radar signals to mistaken drills remind us how easily things could spiral out of control. The haunting specter of Trinity Test's hypothetical conflagration mirrors the real ongoing threat of nuclear war.
3, 2, 1.
Both the Earth and humanity have faced a heap of close calls and near misses. Are there any missing from our list? Let us know in the comments below. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.